book of Revelation, a book that a lot of people love to read, other people are scared to read. Some people, actually, I have heard over the years, some people believe Revelation has already happened. Now, there are a few like that, but today I'm going to start the first of several videos we're going to do in which we sort of do a teaching on the book of Revelation. So if you like to study Bible prophecy, make sure you subscribe, because I think you're going to want to hear what we say. You can discuss it. You might not agree with everything we say, but I think you will enjoy it. Now, today I want to sort of do a little introducing to the book as a whole, and I'm going to do this in just a few minutes, but I think you're going to be amazed at one of the verses I bring out. Again, I want to say this. Some people believe that Revelation has done happened, that Revelation has done taken place. Well, if you go to the last book or the last part of Revelation and you begin to read that, I think you will be easy to see Revelation has not been fulfilled. Okay, we have not entered into the reign of Christ. We have not went through the 1,000-year reign of Christ. We've not experienced the battle of Armageddon. None of that has happened, okay? So that's false right there. But there is a passage in Revelation, in the very first chapter, that holds the key, okay? And I think you're going to want to see what we talk about here in the next couple of minutes. Don't turn this video off, because this verse explains it all, okay? Here's what we're going to talk about for just a couple of minutes. If you think about Revelation, you read in the opening segment, what a time it must have been. John, the author of Revelation, or the man, God was the author, but he gave it to John to write. So John, as some people refer to him as John the Revelator, was banished to an island of Patmos to live out his time. Okay, that was what they sent him out there to do, basically sent him out there to die. But the Bible said John was in the Spirit on the Lord's Day, and God showed him a vision. He showed it to him. I don't know how it could have pictured. I don't know how it could have happened. You know, I've seen pictures of the area where they think John was actually at when he saw the vision or the display of what God was showing him. And I could sort of picture John looking out over the waters and God maybe just putting it up, using the sky as a big screen. I don't know how God did it, but maybe him showing John all of these things. Well, the Bible said when John was just beginning to worship that day, that he heard a voice behind him and he turned around. And whenever he turned around, he saw Jesus Christ glorified in his glorified body. And the Bible said he fell at his feet as dead. But I want you to notice, now we'll notice the reading right here, okay? The Bible said, now this is just a few things that John described Jesus as. He said his head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass. Now you can imagine turning around and seeing a glorified Christ right behind you, okay? And he said, when I saw him, I fell at his feet as dead. And he laid his right hand upon me, saying, fear not, I am the first and the last. But I want you to notice verse number 19. This is the whole verse for this one video. Verse number 19 says this, write the things which thou hast seen, the things which are, and the things which shall be hereafter. So now notice what Jesus said. I'm going to read it again really quick. Write the things which thou hast seen, the things which are, and the things which shall be hereafter. Okay, so basically Jesus said, write the things that are in the past, write the things that are in the present, write the things that are in the future. Now, the book of Revelation can be divided up really easy, okay? Now, what do you think he just said? He said, number one, write the things that you have just seen, okay? Write the things that you've seen. So what did John write in the book of Revelation that he saw? He wrote the description of Jesus Christ. The revelation means revealing. It was the revelation, the revealing of Jesus Christ. And John saw that firsthand when he turned around and he saw his friend, but he didn't see him as he saw him back, just prior to that, before Jesus was crucified. He saw him in his resurrected body. He saw him as the glorified Christ, the true and the living God. That's why John fell at his feet, he said, is dead. Okay, so Jesus told John, you write that. So the first chapter is what we read about what John saw. The first chapter. write the things that you have seen. So John used the first chapter to talk about the things that he had seen. Okay, he didn't write in Revelation about things that happened to him years ago or things that happened, miracles Jesus did. No, he used chapter 1 to write about the description of when Jesus Christ appeared behind him. So when Jesus said, write the things you've seen, John did that in chapter 1. Then Jesus said, write the things which are. And when he said are, that is present. Okay, chapters 2 and 3 is where the Bible deals with the churches that were in existence at that time. Now, a lot of people today try to make this represent ages, and they try to say, well, the church is today, we're living in the church of Laodicea, the church age or whatever. Well, actually, I don't believe that. I believe, as Jesus said, these were 7 churches that were in existence at that time on this earth. And truth be told, if you look at all of the descriptions on the churches that Jesus gives when he's talking to John, okay, there's a little bit of that in all the churches today. Now, I'm not talking about buildings or organizations or denominations. I'm talking about the body of Christ. You'll see people that's on fire for God. You'll see people that's left their first love. You'll see people that's lukewarm. You'll see people that's going strong at it. You'll see people that's maybe slacking back. You'll see people that's letting things creep in. You'll see all of these things. So there's a little bit in every church, so for what I'm talking about in the churches today. There's a little bit of all of that. So I don't think it's not one age. This was 7 churches at that time. So that's what Jesus said, write the things that are. So chapters 2 and 3, that's all John talks about, is the 7 churches that Jesus is telling him about. So then we get into chapter 4. Now when Jesus begins chapter 4, the Bible said, they tell John, there's a voice that says, come up hither, and I'm going to show you things that will be then hereafter. Okay, so that right there tells it right there. John chapter 4 in verse number 1 is the beginning of the things that you will see. Not today, John. This isn't today. This isn't happening today. But John, this is things that will take place in the future. So he was saying past, Revelation 1, he said, write the things, once again, Revelation 1:19, the things that you have seen, things that are, and things that shall be hereafter. Revelation chapter number 1 was what he had seen. It was the description of a glorified Christ. Revelation 2 and 3 covered the middle part, things that are. It was churches that was in existence in that time period that John was living on this earth. There was churches that was in existence, the churches at Ephesus, at Thyatira, at Ephesus, at Laodicea, the church at Philadelphia. All of these churches was in existence then. That was Revelation 2 and 3. That covered the are. But then from Revelation 4, chapter 4 on, covered the things that shall be hereafter. And actually that verse tells you, and you might be seeing it here, where the word came to John, this will be things that shall be hereafter. So has Revelation already happened? No, it's not already happened when we get to the chapter 4 on. Now, there are things that are happening today that are playing a role in this being fulfilled. Where it's at, how quickly it is to come on, we don't know. But there are things that are going on in this world today. That's why it's important to know about the book of Revelation and study Bible prophecy. I did not know when I was a little boy. I did not know that God would call me into the ministry when he did. I didn't know that. But I did. One of the first things as a young man, I had a love for Bible prophecy and the book of Revelation. I loved to study it. Well, then after God called me into the ministry, he began to open me up to some of these things to study and to understand. And that's just like this chapter here and what I'm talking about. Things that have been, things that are, and things that will be hereafter. Revelation 1 is the past, 2 and 3 were the present in John's day, and 4 on in the book of Revelation is things that will happen in the future. Well, that future today is approaching because back in John's day, it was a long way off, but it's not today. So it's important that you know what the book of Revelation talks about. It's important that we know a few things about it, and we're going to try to study about it a little as you go. We're going to put our email in the description box, and if you have a comment or if you have anything in the book of Revelation you would like us to talk about, please feel free to send us an email and tell us that, and we'll try to discuss it and maybe make a video on that if it's not one that we do cover. So we do appreciate you watching. If you're new here and you love this type of content, make sure you subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. That way you'll know each and every time we upload a video. Remember, God loves you, God bless you, and we're going to be looking for you on our next video.